Academy. So under the Intellectual Academy, this is a school where we develop our students intellectually. And so I have a very good quotation by a woman that I call a woman philosopher. And most of you know her. Her name is Ellen G. White. So she writes something very important and critical in a book entitled Messages to Young People, page 195. So she says, by the way, she's commenting on why we as youths have to develop intellectually and how important it is. So she says, dear youth, what is the aim and purpose of your life? Question mark. Are you ambitious for education that you may have a name and position in the world? Question mark. Have you thoughts that you dare not express, that you may sit in deliberative and legislative councils and help to enact laws for the nation? There is nothing wrong in these aspirations. You may, every one of you, make your mark. You should be content with no mean attainments. Aim high and spare no pains to reach the standard. You know, this is a quotation that actually keeps on motivating me to develop intellectually. Here is my good mother who tells us that we need to aim high and we have to spare no pains to reach the highest standard that we can ever reach. It's actually a blessing that most of us might not think of, that we have actually a caring mother who invites us to develop intellectually for the sake of us having a complete life. So remember, if you follow truthful living, that simply means that you adhere to living completely. And intellectual development is one of the ways to develop completely. And I'll also run you through some of the quotations from one of my favorite books that I'm reading. It's entitled Highways to Learning. So first quotation says, we are still under Intellectual Academy. So the first quotation says, they who do not read, he wrote to her, can have nothing to think and little to say. So this was spoken by Dr. Samuel Johnson, quoted by a writer by the name of John D. Snyder in his book, Highways to Learning. So the writer is trying to say, the people that do not read can have nothing to think and little to say. And that is actually factual. If you do not read, it's not possible for you to think and actually have something to say when you meet your friends who sound to be intellectuals. Another quotation by John D. Snyder says, the person who acquires the habit of intelligent reading invariably gets more out of life. For books kindle the imagination and enrich the whole being with grace and power. So, my dear friends, I am inviting you to a culture of reading because it's an amazing culture and it will help you to think and have sensible things to say at the right time. Another quotation says, the true university of these days is a collection of books. People who read worthwhile books are educated people. So this is also by John D. Snyder. Another one says, no man who did not continue to learn after he left school ever made his mark in the world. John D. Snyder. So we are taught to say, for people who became great in the world, those who aimed higher and higher and higher, these are the people who continued reading even after they left school. And so it's a call to all the people. We are not here to condemn as people that will be teaching truthful living, but we are here to help one another, to educate one another, and to help lift ourselves. One of my favorite verses in Hebrews 13 verse 2 says, do not forget to entertain strangers, for by so doing, some have unwittingly entertained angels. I'll repeat that again. Hebrews 13 verse 2. Do not forget to entertain strangers, for by so doing some have unwittingly entertained angels. So who are the strangers that we can entertain without knowing that we are actually entertaining angels? The strange people that we are going to entertain are books. And when we entertain books, we might not know that we are actually entertaining what? Angels. And at the same time, the people that we can entertain are people who are older than us, who have gone where we are trying to go. If we learn from them, we are actually at a better position to move faster in life, because they teach us to run away from many obstacles that they faced. And therefore, I call you and I to learn from books and people who have already gone where we're trying to go. Another powerful quotation from Highways to Learning says, "Without the love for books, the richest man is poor." I know you can argue against that, but research has shown it that without the love for books, the richest man is poor. So thank you so much for being with us under Truthful Living Intellectual Academy, where we are going to be helping you to develop intellectually. We now have another branch, and we are